Welcome to the West End Library's monthly book review. The West End Library is in Laurelton, Pennsylvania, and this is Janet. For the month of July 2022, I'm going to share a book by one of my favorite authors, Lisa Scottoline. The title of the book is What Happened to the Bennets? What begins with a family coming home from an enjoyable and happy event quickly turns into a tragedy. The Bennet family is on their way home from their daughter's lacrosse game, is stopped by what they think are carjackers, but quickly turns into murder. Allison, the daughter, is accidentally shot, and one of the carjackers is shot by the second carjacker. Allison does not survive the trauma, and then the FBI comes into play and spirits the family away immediately to put them in the witness protection plan. Apparently, the two carjackers were part of a large drug cartel, and the FBI felt that the Bennet family was in grave danger. The Bennets, Jason, his wife Lucinda, and their son Ethan were moved to a fairly remote safe house while the FBI was looking for the person who knew was the shooter. Because the family mysteriously and quickly disappeared, friends and neighbors began speculating about the whereabouts and what happened to the family, and the rumor mill was quite vivid. The guilt that Ethan, the son, felt regarding losing his sister was profound, and he blamed himself because he was unable to control their dog that had been with them, and the dog had approached the carjackers. His sister had been shot accidentally due to their dog. It was speculated why they were targeted, and Jason began to think of ways that he could look into the whereabouts of the shooter known as Milo. They were able to look up news on the internet, but unable to contact any friends or relatives due to their being in the program. Groups were organized within their community of friends to try and find where the Bennets were. At this time, no one knew, besides the Bennets and the FBI, what had happened to Allison. In addition to the carjacking, their house was burnt down, Jason's business office and Lucinda's business burnt down as well. Whoever was doing the destruction knew who the Bennets were, and there was some reason why they were targeted, and not just for a carjacking. At one point, Jason was able to get away from the safe house and began digging into who Milo was, who he worked for, as well as the man Milo had murdered. This led to a huge FBI hunt to find Jason, due to not only his needing protection, but their fear that Milo, who had disappeared, would find him first. There was a connection between Jason's former affiliation with Guantanamo and something that had happened there. Trying to pull up his past records from his working environment and them being all erased, he was able to pull up a picture that had been in his personal account that was going to play a huge part in the entire carjacking and Jason's finding out that he was actually the target. A person in the picture was someone high up in the government who had done something very wrong and had lied about it. There's a lot of excitement as Jason delves into what has happened in the past and how it plays into what happened to his family. In the meantime, Milo finds his family due to one of the FBI babysitters being on the criminal cartel's payroll. Jason becomes a big part of the prosecution of the person high in the government and exposing what had happened years ago at Guantanamo. Lisa Scottoline's novels are always full of excitement and usually touch on an area that I had not heard about previously. I hope you will enjoy reading What Happened to the Bennets as much as I did.